What's up, Internet? My name is Michael Cook, this is Blue Giant Media, and we're here to connect through gaming. Today we're going to take a look at Tiny Towns by Peter McPherson and published by AEG. We're going to set the game up in real time so you get a feel for how long and how involved the actual setup is, and then we're going to play through a couple rounds so you get a feel for the rule set and the overall flow of the game. So without further ado, let's ready, set, play. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and set up Tiny Towns, and I'm going to set it up for 2. So each player will get one of these boards. You can set the score sheets and the boards aside. You are going to play with 1 cottage, and then 1 of each of the other types of buildings. But we're going to go through, and the recommended setup for the first game is these particular buildings. So we're going to go through and we're going to use the farm. We're going to use the factory. We won't use any of the monuments. These are something that's individual. Each person is going to get some of them. We won't. It recommends not using those for the first game. Then we will use the tavern, chapel, the theater, the well. Alright, let's see. We've got cottage, chapel, farm, tavern, well, theater, and factory. Okay, we'll put the rest back in the box. We're going to grab these. I'll explain how you can do both of the different things. We're going to grab all of these and all of these, and we'll set everything aside. As in many, many games, the point of this game is to score the most points. And you're going to score points in a whole bunch of different ways that are kind of prescribed each game by the cards that are available, that tell you kind of how each of the buildings is going to score. So there's these different resources that you'll use to build the buildings in various shapes and forms. This is the first player token, it looks like. And I'm not going to bother dumping all of these out right now. I'm just going to open each one so that I have access to them. Alright, so then there's a couple ways that you can play, and essentially we're all pretty much set up here. What we can do is the active player can say, alright, well, I want to put out a blue, so then everybody takes a blue and places it out. Then it rotates on over. The next player says what color they want to put out. That's one way that you can play. The other way that you can play is you take this deck of cards, you're going to shuffle it, and then you're going to put 5 in a discard pile. And then you will take 1 card, you'll flip it over. Everybody must use that card, or that resource. So maybe I'm going to look and see, okay, there's these chapels over here. I think I want to get some chapels. It scores 1 point for each cottage that has been supplied with food. Okay. So maybe I'm going to want to go for one of those. So I'll start by putting that in the corner over here because I'm going to want to do that. Over here, maybe you want to build a well, or you want to build a theater. Theater scores a point for each other unique building type in the same row and column. Okay, so that one's pretty interesting. I think I'll go ahead and put that there. Then you'll flip over another one. So now I'm going to go ahead and keep on working towards that chapel, and you will go ahead and continue working towards that theater. Now the third, so you'll be doing 2 cards, and then everybody gets to choose 1 resource of their choice. So that's where there's going to be some variance. So now I might say, well, I want to get another blue. You might say that you want a brown. Then we flip over another. So now everybody has to do a wheat. So now neither one of us needed that, so we have to start looking and see, okay, well, what might we want to do? So these need to be fed by farms. Let's go ahead and put that there on this board, and over here you're going to want maybe to build your first cottage. So why don't we put this there? All right, next is a red. Okay, now we need, what needs a red? So we can look and see, okay, these taverns, the more of them that you have, the more points they are worth. So I'm gonna go ahead and start working on a tavern in the corner over here. I think maybe you will go ahead and do the same. And remember, the third one that you do, you get to choose. So you'll choose a brown, and I will choose another gray. All right, so now each of us has finished a building. Now, we don't have to put a building out right away. We can leave our options open. You can complete then later multiple buildings on the same turn, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. So put out buildings. So I'm going to build a chapel. So I'm gonna grab, see, that is the orange building. All right, so then I pick up these 4 pieces, and on one of the 4 squares that I just had that, I am going to then build. All right, so I'm going to build a chapel. Then you are going to build a theater. All right, that is yellow, and you're gonna put yours in the corner as well. All right, and then we will continue. We will flip over another brick. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put that there. You are going to, see, we'll try and diverge paths a little bit here. You're gonna try and work towards a cottage. So why don't we put this here for you, and you're going to try and put a blue in one of those spaces. All right, next one is going to be a gray or stone. Let's see, so over here I want to have some wells, and I want them to be adjacent to cottages. See, likewise, you want to do the same, so you'll go ahead and do that. Maybe I want to start working on a factory. All right, so I'll go ahead and start this right there. All right, so then the third one is going to be one of our choice. So now you might say that you want to go like that so that you can build your first cottage. Okay. Then I might say that I want to get one of these so I can build my first tavern. And taverns are green. And I'm going to go ahead and put that here. Yes. Okay. And now we flip over again. Wood. So each of us is going to get a wood. Now you want to get a well. Actually, yeah, we'll do that. So you're going to get a well. And then I am going to, let's see, I've got a yellow here. I want some farms. So I'm going to put this here. All right, the next one is going to be glass. So I do not need a glass for my factory, but I can start working on my own cottage now. Or I could start working on my own theater. I think I'm going to start working on a cottage. So I will put this right there. And over here, you are going to work on your own tavern. Now you just need a red there. And we both get to choose whatever we want now for our next one. So I'm going to put a red right here. And you will put a red right here. And that gives you a tavern. And we'll go ahead and put it there. So it's going to continue play like this. Well, I guess I'll go through the rest of this deck now, just for fun. All right, another glass. So now we're starting to get a little bit tighter in here. So maybe I want to, I'll start work possibly on another cottage over here. You, on the other hand, are pretty wide open. Maybe you want to start working on a chapel. And wheat. I can make more progress towards my farm. And you Well, you might end up wanting another cottage here. So maybe we'll put that there. And then for our last one, I will put a wood here so that I can have a farm. Let's see, farms are red. I'm gonna go ahead and put my farm right there. You, on the other hand, are going to, let's see. I'll go ahead and put a glass there. So once you get to the bottom of the deck, then you will go ahead and shuffle. And technically this goes back and forth with each of those sets of 3. So 1, 2 flips, and then a third choice by everybody. Then it rotates to the next first player, although there really isn't any difference. Once you shuffle, you again are going to take 5 out and start again. Wood. And you will continue from there. So you're going to continue in that manner until you cannot place anything. So whether you can't fit, maybe your board's completely full because you did, well, I don't think that's really possible, or because there's nowhere left for you to place anything. Then you are out and you can begin scoring your board. Everyone else who's still in can continue scoring or continue playing until they are also unable to play anything. Once everybody's unable to play anything, that's when you're going to total up or compare everybody's total scores. So you go here and you can write the builder's name, and you're going to score points for each of these types of things. So this particular one, the factory says, when constructed, place one of the 5 resources on it. When another player names this resource, you can place a different resource instead. So that makes it so, you could take the factory, once you built it, I could say, you know what, I want to be able to, whenever a red comes up, whenever a brick comes up, instead of playing a brick, I can put anything else that I want down. Gives you a little bit more flexibility. So that one doesn't score any points, so no one would score points for that. The cottages, cottage, they score 3 points if it's fed, and they're fed by the farms. They feed 4 buildings anywhere in your town. So you don't score points for the red, but the reds allow you to score points for your cottages. Then the chapel is going to score 1 point for each cottage that is fed. So since I've got a chapel, I'm going to want to have lots of cottages over here. Taverns score points based off of how many taverns you have. So I've got 1 tavern. I'm going to want to have a whole bunch of taverns. So basically what I've set myself up for is I want to have basically, oh man, you pretty much always want everything. But I want to have lots of taverns so I can score lots of points there. And then, based on your constructed, and then I'm going to want to have fed cottages so that my chapel is worth lots of points. And then you want wells will score a point for each adjacent cottage. So ideally you'd have something along the lines of cottages surrounding wells. So if you could have a well there and cottages all around it, then that 1 well scored you 4 points. Then the theater is going to score points if you've got different buildings in that row, such as this. Now this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different buildings. It can be up to 6. Then this could score 6 points because it has 6 different buildings in its row and column. You total up all the points, and whoever has the most points, and then you'll lose points for any spaces in your city that you did not utilize. You'll lose 1 point for each unused square. And then at the end of the game, whoever has the most points is going to be the winner. You can also play the game solo by using the deck of cards as well. So all you would need to do is there's some specific cards that are going to be set up because some are more interactive. But what you'll do with that deck of cards is you will turn over 3. Then you will choose one of those resources to put in your city, in your town, and then you'll choose again. So you'll basically be drafting from the 3 that are showing. You can draft, maybe I want to build another one of those. All right, now I want to take that glass so that I can build there, and I can clear those 3 out and put a tavern down. And you'll keep on playing like that. And the end game is the same, and then you'll just total up your points the same way and compare to see how many, basically what your high score is. And that is how you play. Other than there are these monuments, which only one player each player can only have one, and at the beginning of the game, each player is going to be given 2 of these monument cards, of which they will choose 1. And so you will have it, it'll be secret. I will have one, it'll be secret. And they do different things. Like this one says, points based off when you complete your town. If you are the first one to finish your town, so if you run out of space and you're the first one to finish your town, you'll get 6 points. So this one is obviously, I think, one of the ones that's probably not used in a solo game. This one right here, and you can see this one takes a lot. It takes 6. None of them out here take 6. It says immediately place 3 unique buildings on this card. Whenever a player on the left or right of you constructs one of these buildings, take the building from here and place it in an empty square of your town. So wow, basically you get to predict what your neighbors are going to do whenever they build a town that matches, or a building that matches what you've put. Like maybe you just want to build cottages. You can put them there, and whenever your neighbor, actually does it say different? 3 unique buildings. So maybe you go like this. And whenever my neighbor on one side builds a theater, I get to take that theater and build it for free. That's pretty cool. So that could be very useful. You'll have one of those, so you can only build 1 monument, and that's just one of the other things that you can do. There's, as you can see, a whole bunch of different things to choose from. Instead of, for instance, the well, you could have the shed, millstone, or fountain. And you can see that they all actually are made the same way. They all take a wood and a stone, but they score points differently. Like this one right here says, may be constructed on any empty square in your town. So it doesn't have to be built where, so if you go and build these, get these 2 pieces, you can clear them out, but then you can take this and you don't have to put it in the 2 spaces that were there. You can put it wherever you want, and it's worth 1 point. This one right here is 2 points if it's adjacent to a farm or a theater. So they score points differently, and there's 4 of each of the different types of buildings, and they don't all have the same setups. Like here's the inn, the feast hall. They use different resources. So each game is going to be a little bit different, although obviously there's only 4 of each type of building. So actually there's not 4 of each type. There's 4 of most types. Looks like there's only 2 different possibilities for that type of building. No, here's more of them. There we go. So yeah, there's 4 of each type, except for cottages are always cottages, and there's a whole bunch more of the monuments. Alright, now you should have a pretty good idea of how to set up and play through Tiny Towns by Peter McPherson and published by AEG. If you want to know more about the game, take a look in the description section where you'll find a link to my unboxing as well as my overall thoughts and review on Tiny Towns. You can also find a link there to macronovagames.com where you can buy Tiny Towns and a whole bunch of other great games. Until next time, I want to thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment in the comment section below if you have any feedback for me, and also please like, share, and subscribe if you like what you see. And as always, have a wonderful day.